today I was at an Aikido class in the morning, and the teacher, one of my senseis, he said to me that he came across my YouTube channel and he was kind of laughing, and he'd obviously watched a bunch of the videos or whatever, and he was saying to me, why don't you speak about Aikido? So I'm going to speak a little bit about Aikido, and I've put up my second Dan video. If you want to see that, I'll put that here. I'll try and do that. I'll try and remember to edit it. If I don't edit it, you can find my second Dan video, but maybe I'll put it up here or something in a link. Aikido is a martial art that I started about 7 years ago, and at that time I was just working in a shop, and a guy randomly who I'd just befriended, he asked me if I wanted to go to Aikido, and it was completely random. There was no reason for him to ask me to come, but I went along to the class, and it was weird because as I walked into the class, the first person I saw was a guy that had worked at my school, and I thought that was just such a weird coincidence. And there was another guy in the class that I'd seen around walking around the shop that I'd been in, and there was a few coincidences like that made me think, maybe I'm in the right place here and I should keep going. And I really enjoyed straight away the whole philosophy and idea of Aikido, and it appealed to me. And I've never been the kind of person that I wasn't wanting to do like some kind of violent sport or anything like that, and maybe that was my own shyness or whatever, but I didn't really want to be sparring and punching and fighting and being hit and stuff like that. That wasn't, and developing aggression or developing how to focus and concentrate your aggression and stuff. I wasn't looking for that, and I'm not discounting that. I think there's a lot to that, and a lot to the martial arts or the sports or whatever that develop that. So I'm not discarding that, but that's just not what I wanted. So I enjoyed the sort of philosophies of Aikido and the idea of Ki, which is universal energy or internal energy, vital energy. If you're Japanese, maybe you can let me know a bit about what Ki means for the Japanese people, but in Aikido, Ki is various things, because there's different Aikido teachers, the different schools. Some of them emphasise Ki more, some of them just say Ki means balance and coordination, perfect timing. And within Ki Aikido, which is what I practice, it's a little bit vague as to what Ki is, but it's sort of an intangible. It's the intangible, basically. It's the intangible experiences that make one guy who's been practicing 20 years, it's the difference that makes him so much better at performing a certain technique than someone else. It's not. It becomes less about physically what he's doing, and becomes some intangible quality that is hard to define and is unusual to experience. So if you want to experience it, you have to actually go and train and practice. And it's not a straight away thing, but it's an unusual. There's a lot of unusual occurrences in an Aikido class that is worth exposing yourself to expand your own mind, I guess, your own ideas. I guess I got a lot of ideas of what that is, what Ki is, but Aikido in general, as I say, it's a martial art. It comes from Japan. It's relatively new. I think the name only came about in the 1960s. Developed by a guy called Morihei Yoshiba Sensei. O Sensei is called in Aikido circles. And O Sensei is the classic old wise man character that you see in in so many things of fiction. Karate Kid. You see it in probably every martial art has a character like that, but Yoshiba is the perfect small, wise, old man, weak little old man that could do amazing things and throw guys around. And there's great pictures of him sitting and loads of guys are trying to push him over or whatever, and he's just standing there. And so it's that classic kind of the wisdom and the brains and the mind overcoming the brawn and the power of youth. You know, it's that kind of thing. So that's who he typifies, and I wouldn't be surprised if that and him and Aikido and the ninjas and all those, that kind of schools, totally influenced like the Jedi and stuff in Star Wars, you know, because like the Jedi are all wearing these cloaks and stuff, and that's it's almost like Aikido clothing that they're wearing, like a really traditional hakama or something. So and obviously they talk about energy, and the Jedi talk about energy and whatever. And Yeshiva was very philosophical, very spiritual guy in his later life. In his earlier life, he was more just a typical kind of brutal martial arts guy that learned loads of different arts. There's lots of weird stories about his life, whatever, but he later on developed a more peaceful philosophy, and he wanted his art to be a form of self-perfection for the human race, basically. He wanted it to be a way towards, you know, self-perfection, self-development, and certainly that's what Aikido is. It's a system of personal development encapsulated within a martial art, and the philosophy that of non-resistance and resolving conflict in a more peaceful way and stuff. All of that kind of philosophy is part and parcel of the techniques and part and parcel of the practice. So it's great in that respect, and it's something when we in Ki Aikido, which was sort of a break away from the traditional school. A guy called Koichi Tohei Sensei developed Ki Aikido, and he was the top instructor at the time when Yeshiba died. And basically Yeshiba's family and everything just wanted to keep on going the same way, and Tohei Sensei wanted to start to develop or add on Ki practice, Ki development, specific Ki development exercises, and they wanted to just keep doing it their own way. So Tohei Sensei moved away, started his own club, Shinshin Toitsu Aikido, which is Aikido with mind and body coordinated, which is what Ki Aikido it's called generally. So that's where the lineage that I'm part of comes from, and he added on the Ki principles and the principles of Aikido and Ki tests, where you are testing people for their level of Ki development and their level of mind and body coordination. And a big part of the practice is people developing their Ki in Ki Aikido. So what I would say about Aikido, it's not something, if you're looking to get super fit, if you're looking to spar, if you're looking to develop muscle and stuff like that, it's not the martial art for you. That's something else. You can find other things where you'll get that kind of intense training. Aikido is not, you're not going to get that level of fitness purely from Aikido. Even if you practice a lot, you're not going to get that level of fitness, because the techniques just don't. The techniques and the way things are practiced do not. It doesn't become a cardiovascular type of practice, and there's not enough resistance in it to develop a lot of muscle and stuff. So there are limits to what Aikido can do, and as a martial art, it's not, you know, if you want to be in a cage fight or something like that, then Aikido is probably not the thing to do either. If you want to be in like bashing people's heads in a cage or whatever, then it's not the art for you, because it's not encouraged. Fighting is not encouraged, and that kind of thing is not encouraged within Aikido, and that's part of the philosophy of it as well. And I'm not saying that's any of that stuff's bad. I think that really helps people to train, and you know, if you're competing with someone, then that really focuses your development, I guess. But we don't do that in Aikido. We just work on the techniques and work on our own development, our own level of coordination and everything else. But it can be a very powerful art. It's very interesting. It's got a lot to it. It goes into aspects of the mind and developing a positive attitude and extending your mind and focusing your mind on your one point, which is a point just below your navel. There's a lot of stuff to it. There's a lot to it. And physically the techniques are really wonderful movements, really. Almost like the way yoga is, or Tai Chi or something, or a number of things. The movement there's a lot of circular movement. You're obviously practicing with a partner, and you're learning the mechanics of the body and stuff like that. And there's also randori training, which is more, staying coordinated and relaxed under more pressure of attack. So I really encourage you, if you're looking for something to do, if you're looking for a new thing to learn, why not go along and try an Aikido class? And if you're in Glasgow, near where I'm living in Glasgow, we have a visitors class. I'm not the teacher, I've got a teacher, Sensei Firestone. We have a visitors class on the 8th of April from 8 PM to 9:30 PM at the Kinning Park complex in Glasgow. So if you're interested in coming along, just come along. If you want to watch, that's fair enough, but you should probably try and experience it, and you won't get thrown around or pushed over or whatever. It's free, 8 o'clock to 9:30, Kinning Park complex in Glasgow. Aikido. Come and try it out. And for all you in other parts of the world, this might be something you're looking for. It might be something you're looking for, is what I'm saying. It was definitely something I was looking for. If what I've been telling you sounds like, you've been searching for something that might fill in some of those criteria, you're developing a martial art, so you're developing self-defense, you're developing confidence and it's difficult to explain it to people, but extending your mind, extending your confidence, and a sort of inner journey towards more peace and centeredness in everyday life. So I recommend it. If you're in Glasgow, you want to come along, 8 PM to 9:30 PM, Kinning Park complex, Wednesday the 8th of April. So come along and enjoy it. And if it's, just to reiterate, I think I've already said it, but go along. Don't be scared about trying. And try out a few martial arts. Martial arts in general, a wonderful thing. If you've never practiced, great thing to practice. Great thing to learn. Developing self-defense gives you so much confidence, and your fear disappears. Not because you think you can beat everyone up, but because you realise there's nothing to be worried about anymore. The fear goes away and you start to see the truth, which is no one's out there trying to kill you, really. So that's a nice thing about the martial arts, I guess. So thanks for watching. Go to my website if you want to subscribe, and